Obi-Wan Kenobi was a well-known Jedi during the rule of the Republic, but after Order 66 and the fall of the Jedi Order, the former Jedi Master was forced into hiding during the Jedi Purge in order to keep himself alive and away from the presence of the Empire. He hid on the remote desert planet of Tatooine, where he would be able to live in secrecy as well as watch over a young Luke Skywalker as he grew up with his aunt and uncle, until the time was right for him to be trained in the ways of the Force. During this time, Obi-Wan began to go by the name Ben Kenobi. When we were first introduced to Ben Kenobi in A New Hope, not much thought was given as to why he chose that name specifically, but since then, many fans, including myself, have begun to wonder why Ben. As Leia stated in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, it's not a very Jedi-sounding name, and other than keeping the same last name, it has no similarities to his original name. Ben isn't a nickname or variation of Obi-Wan. So what caused him to decide on using Ben Kenobi during the reign of the Empire? We finally got an in-universe answer in the recently released novel Brotherhood, written by Mike Chen, which follows Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker during the early stages of the Clone Wars, as we learn what the business on Cater Neimoidian actually was. During a meeting between Obi-Wan and his good friend Dexter Jettster, where the two discuss the Neimoidian people and their strategy that keeps them neutral in the war, Dexter brings up an old friend of Obi-Wan, who also preaches about neutrality. Although Obi-Wan plays coy at the beginning, Dexter continues, describing her as dressing better, having striking eyes, being Mandalorian royalty, and having used to call him Ben for some reason. Although he never gives Dex the satisfaction of saying the name out loud, it's confirmed that he is referring to Duchess Satine Kryze, who ruled Mandalore during the Clone Wars until she was killed by Maul after he re-emerged. Unlike other Mandalorians, Satine used her status to usher in an era of pacifism for her people, ending the warrior ways of the Mandalorian people. Following a civil war, the new Mandalorians, led by Satine, came into power and exiled the warrior Mandalorians to the planet's moon Concordia, where they formed the terrorist group known as Death Watch. Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi were later assigned to protect the Duchess, and turmoil began to brew on the planet once again. It was during this time that Obi-Wan and Satine fell in love, to the point where Obi-Wan was willing to leave the Jedi Order in order to have a life with her. Obi-Wan choosing to live in exile using the nickname that Satine gave him all those years ago adds much more meaning to the name Ben, rather than it just being something Obi-Wan decided on using a random name generator. We know that the two had a deep connection, and it's possible that living alone on Tatooine, buried in the pain and regret from failing Anakin, Obi-Wan also regretted not leaving the Order to be with Satine. Someone else would have trained Anakin, and maybe it wouldn't have led to the fall of the Jedi Order, as well as Satine being killed by Maul simply to torture the man who cut him in half on Naboo. It's an interesting what-if scenario, and it's one I'm sure he thought of during the decade he spent on Tatooine alone, before we see him finally face his failures and move on from the past in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Let me know what you think of Obi-Wan Kenobi using the name Ben because of Satine in the comments below, and be sure to check out my reviews for both the novel Brotherhood and all 6 episodes of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Remember to like the video and subscribe for more Star Wars deep dives like this, as well as reviews, up-to-date news stories, gaming videos, and more. As always, thank you all for watching, and remember, the Force will be with you, always.